Okay. Whew. It is really, really hot today. I can't turn the fan on because it'll mess with the sound. Sorry if I'm a bit sweaty. I'll probably start sweating a lot more in a bit. But anyway, Casino Royale.
Ah! Yeah! Ah! Ah! Yes! Yes!
Casino Royale. So after Die Another Day, I was a little kid. It was the first James Bond film I ever saw at the cinema. I thought Pierce Brosnan is James Bond. That's he is Bond. There's gonna be another one. Blah 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 blah. La di da di da. Then I find out. I remember actually. I remember. I think my dad told me actually. They said, "Oh, they're gonna go with a new James Bond, a more darker, more serious James Bond." I think I remember him saying that, and I thought, "What? What? No, no, Pierce Brosnan. What? But he's James Bond. I loved Pierce Brosnan. He was James Bond. I thought, great, he is Bond. I thought he was going to be Bond forever, to be honest with you. And then I don't know. I just kind of like forgot about it and didn't really I can't really remember at the time. I think I was really really young, so I was too busy thinking about other things. But then there is a big announcement. I remember watching this on the news, and I remember they were like, Daniel Craig is the new James Bond. I remember seeing him by the River Thames, and they brought him in by boat. And I just remember this was the big announcement. This was this guy's the new James Bond. And I thought, what? No, no. This guy does not look at all like James Bond. He looks like a Bond villain. He doesn't look like James Bond. And I was familiar with Daniel Craig. I've seen him at the time. I remember he was in Tomb Raider, and he was like, "Hey Lara," he was doing an American accent. "Hey Lara, Lara." I remember that, and I think I saw Road to Perdition. I think I saw that, and I remember him being a bit of a prick in that. And yeah, and then there was this film like Layer Cake, which I hadn't seen it, but I just remember he was in that, and a lot of people say like that's the film that kind of made people look at him and go, "Oh, he could be James Bond," and I hadn't seen that at the time. So anyway, after that, my mind was on other things, whatever. Like I can't remember how old I was. I must have been like 2006. I must have been like I think I was definitely in secondary school. Yeah, 2006. I remember seeing him in Munich as well, actually. Yeah, like because I remember I think after the announcement, it was like this guy's James Bond, and I thought he was good in Munich. I thought he was good, and he was all right in Lara Croft, and things that I had seen him in. I thought, yeah, okay, he's a pretty good actor, blah blah blah. But I still wasn't convinced. I still, because I was still like, nah, I don't know. I'm not feeling this guy. But then the trailer came out, and I remember. I think I went to go see the Da Vinci Code, and I saw it. I saw the trailer before the film. The trailer looked pretty cool. Like it looked really cool. Like I remember the shots of the cranes and the all the action and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, and Judy Dench was in it, and there was like a black and white bit. And I was like, okay, maybe this movie might be pretty good, but it'll never be as good as Pierce Brosnan. It'll never be as good as those movies. Those movies are great. And then as it got closer to the release date of the film, I started to get on board with this new actor, this Daniel Craig. I saw like clips and interviews and stuff, and I saw the trailer over and over again. There was a second trailer, and I thought actually this might be really really good, and I'm more intrigued now to see this film, and I'm gonna give Daniel Craig a shot because I remember seeing him in Munich, and he was good in Munich. He played a sort of an assassin in that, and then I think I watched Layer Cake before seeing Casino Royale because I wanted to just see like, is this guy, is he Bond? Anyway, to cut a long story short, I saw the film and I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was fantastic,
Ah! Yeah! Ah!
and it was such a shock as well because it was like a film that I didn't know I wanted. Because I thought, oh yeah, I wanted a Pierce Brosnan movie again. I wanted to see invisible cars and random sword fights, and I wanted to see more gadgets, and I wanted Q John Cleese. I wanted all this silly stuff. I wanted to see him sailing on a tsunami. I wanted to see all this dumb stuff. again. But this film comes out and it's like this really like serious. I mean, it's got some humor to it. It's funny. It's really serious. It's there's no gadgets. Well, there is some gadgets, but there's no cue. There's no right to 007. Here are your gadgets. You know, there's no scene like that. Judi Dench is obviously carried over from the Pierce Brosnan movies. That's great. As a James Bond fan, it's not confusing because it's like that's how it's always been. Like they always have the same M. Like even when, when Roger Moore left, and then Timothy Dalton took over, they had the same M. So that's not bizarre. They still had that, and they still had like David Arnold who did the music. He did the music for I think 3 Pierce Brosnan movies. I don't think he did GoldenEye. GoldenEye was done by somebody else, and yeah, that soundtrack for GoldenEye was a bit weird. It was very sort of like bom bom bada bom bom bom. Bit strange. Yeah, it's weird sound effects. So it's still the same people doing the movies. It's still the same people behind the scenes in charge. Martin Campbell, obviously, who did GoldenEye, is back for this film, and he makes a film that is like obviously yeah, it's completely different to GoldenEye. It's such a completely different film from the get-go. Like it starts off with that black and white scene, then you go into the song, the Chris Cornell song, and that song was cool because it felt different. Well, yeah, obviously because Soundgarden, Chris Cornell was from Soundgarden, so it felt very kind of like mid 2000s rock music, yeah, which is very different to all the previous songs. And again, it felt different, but not in a shit way, not in a just like a shit way. But I just remember as well. I remember watching it and just being completely shocked by it and thinking I didn't know I wanted this. I didn't know I didn't realize I wanted this, but I do want it. Daniel Craig, I was completely against him. I was completely like, nah, he's not James Bond. He can't be. He doesn't look like him. He proved me wrong. And it's like you go through this whole journey of him becoming Bond, and when you get to the very end of the film, when he says the line, the name's Bond, James Bond, when he says it, you're just like, yes. And then the music kicks in and you're like, yes, he earned that. And they strip everything back. I mean, there's still a lot of great action scenes, a lot of over the top, crazy stuff, but it's not like CGI aeroplanes going into a massive laser. It's not CGI big tsunami. It's more practical, it's more real. I mean, yeah, sure, there is a little bit of CGI, I'm sure. But like for instance, the scene in the airport, that's a very exciting scene. Like I had no idea that plane was a model. I thought that plane was real. So there's some pretty good practical effects in this, and like the whole free running scene, the parkour scene, like that whole sequence. Again, they brought in something new. It felt fresh. We've never seen that kind of action scene before in a James Bond film. We've seen chasing. Yeah, we've seen chasing, we've seen car chases, we've seen, bike chases and boat chases and stuff, but something like that, we've never quite seen it. And it's all real as well. The guy is actually jumping from one crane to another crane. Yeah, it's not Daniel Craig, but there is a stunt man jumping from one crane to another. It feels more like it has more of an energy to it. It just has this, it feels fresh. It feels, yes, we've injected some steroids into this, some blood. But then, yeah, anyway, after like the first act of the film is like non-stop action. And then it kind of like, it slows down a little bit. Like when he goes to Montenegro, when he meets Eva Green, Vesper, it starts to slow down a bit, but it's good. Like it's not boring. It's not like, oh God, I want to die because it's so boring. Give me an invisible car, please. Can we get an invisible car? It's like, no. Ah, shit. It feels just, the pacing just feels great, and the dialogue between the two of them is really great, and the chemistry. And I would just say this: Eva Green is one of my favorite actresses. She's hot, but she's also, I think, one of my favorite Bond girls. Like, obviously, yeah, all the classic ones, Pussy Galore. I like her because her name's called Pussy Galore, really, to be honest with you. And then of course Tracy in on Her Majesty's Secret Service. She's a good Bond girl, but Vesper, Eva Green, she's one of the best ones, and she's great in this film. She's like I keep saying the word great, keep saying the word great because well, it is just great. It's great. Okay, it's a great film, and I remember at the time. I remember at the time getting into arguments with like my friends or friends at the time, frenemies. People at school and stuff. Like I had this one friend who hated this film, hated Daniel Craig, wouldn't give him a chance, wouldn't like appreciate the freshness, wouldn't budge on his opinions. He was just like, nope, I don't like this. This is crap. And it's just like, what a wanker. A lot of people were like that, actually. I heard a lot of people saying that at school. I remember this girl once said, oh, the new James Bond film's crap. It's like, what are you on about? Why? And okay, fair enough. It doesn't follow the same formula. Like the villain, for instance, in this film. I will agree with some people that dislike this film, that the villain, who is played by Mads Mikkelsen, he's not really the villain. He gets killed like before the third act of the film. He gets shot in the head. That always like confused me, because it's like if you look at all of the Pierce Brosnan movies, it's always just like the same kind of structure with the films. Like there's always like a fight between Bond and the main villain at the end. And I will say, I do agree, it would have been cool if in the end Bond and Le Chiffre, Mads Mikkelsen, it would have been cool if they had a sort of a face-to-face punch up. I think that would have been a better way of ending the film, in my opinion, because then he would have been a proper villain, I guess. That I mean, but then again, I'm of two brains on this. I'm sort of like, well, why does the villain have to be there at the end? Why does that character have to be there at the end? And why does he have to have a fist fight with James Bond? That's just something that obviously happened in the last films. You had Bond fighting Gustav Graves, and then the one before that, Bond fights Renard, Robert Carlyle. And it's like, okay, just because those films did that doesn't mean this film has to do that. And yeah, I agree. I do agree. Like, it doesn't follow the same structure. And it's like, if you do go into a James Bond film and you're like, oh, I want gadgets, I want all this cool stuff. I want all this stuff. Yeah, this film doesn't really have any of that, but it has some other cool stuff. It has some stuff that you've never seen before. And after that bit, when Mads Mikkelsen does get blutted, like I remember just like thinking, Bond's like rescued and stuff like that, and I just remember thinking like, this is very strange, but I'm enjoying it. Like it's not following the same structure of a typical James Bond film. Like it's almost like this film has suddenly kind of turned into like a love story, like a romance kind of film, like a film about two people who fall in love and go to Venice and stuff like that. And it's like, well, this is odd, but I'm enjoying it. It's like, it's quite good. And James Bond he's not just having sex with this girl and then moving on to the next one. He's actually like pouring out his soul, and he's saying, I love you. I want to give up being a spy, and let's just sail around the world together. I think people just struggled with that with this film, because it was just so different. But yeah, there's so many great scenes in this. I mean, I've already talked about the free running parkour scene, the airport scene, where you actually see a little cameo of Richard Branson. What else is there? There's the staircase scene, where like Bond fights these two dudes. One guy's got a machete, and he strangles him to death, kills him. Then after that we get like this scene, which again you may not have seen in a previous Bond film, but in this film we get it because it's a little bit more thoughtful. The whole shower scene, the scene where like Vesper is in the shower and she's like horrified by what she's done. She helped Bond kill a guy, even though that guy was going to kill them, but still it's a little bit like, oh shit. And Bond comes in and doesn't just like take advantage of her and sleep with her. he joins her in the shower and turns the hot water on, and is sort of comforting her, and is kind of like this is a very different James Bond. He's a nice Bond. He's got some soul to him, he's got like, he does care, and I thought that was always a very sweet scene between them. What else is there? There's the defibrillator scene, the scene where Bond gets poisoned and he has to, like, stick this wire in the defibrillator, and all that. That bit was really, really exciting. I remember as well, like the whole casino bit as well, which I'm surprised I haven't spoken about that yet. But I have no idea how to play poker, cards. I don't know how to do it, but for some reason, like, the film is just filmed and edited in a way where you can kind of like follow what's happening. Even somebody like me who has no idea how to play poker or whatever, I don't get it. I don't know what a royal flush is, but like you're watching it and you're following it, and it's like the music is sort of like, oh, he's winning. It's very tense. It's very suspense filled, and it's, as I say, like most people who like my old friend, ex-friend, he was probably sat there watching this film being like, oh, this is boring, blah, 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 blah. They're just playing cards. Where's the invisible car? Shut up, mate. Anyway, I'm glad I'm not friends with that guy anymore. And then, yeah, obviously, like the ending is, again, like on Her Majesty's Secret Service, it ends in a very dramatic, sad kind of way. Vesper dies, she drowns, and it's very sad. Like, she was kind of like coerced or forced to betray him, and so she kind of like sort of killed herself, really. And the action scene, I would say, like the action scene with the Venice building sort of sinking into the water, great scene, really, really cool. Again, feels real, feels like this is something that actually could actually happen. A real little disaster. It's not a aeroplane flying into a laser. It's not, let's jump in a helicopter and fall out of the plane and try and turn the helicopter on. It's like, again, it's about taste. It's about what are you interested in? Like, what do you prefer? Do you prefer that or this? Me, I can go either way. I can watch the dark, serious stuff, and I can watch the silly stuff. But I do like it when they just strip it all back and they go, okay, well, let's cut out all the tropes and all that, and let's just tell a story. And that's what I really, really love about this film. It's telling a story. Casino Royale is obviously the very first James Bond book. They weren't able to adapt it. I think the rights were like somewhere else, so somebody else could have made a Casino Royale film, but they didn't. But yeah, they got the rights back, the producers, and yeah, I don't know what else to say about this film other than it's great. And as I say, like the ending when he shoots the dude in the leg and he says the name's Bond, James Bond. It's just perfect way to end the film. It's just a great film. But don't get me wrong. I loved Pierce Brosnan. I really did. I really, really loved Pierce Brosnan. He was the James Bond that I grew up with. But you got to grow up even more. You got to let things go sometimes. It's like there will be there's going to be a new James Bond in the future. So it's like you got to give them a little bit of a bit of a shot. You got to give them a chance. You can't just sort of go like, nah, and what about it? I don't know what else to talk about, to be honest with you. I might be forgetting to speak about things, but it is a good film. Mads Mikkelsen is a pretty good villain. There's no invisible cars. I would just say though, yeah, like I would have loved it if they could have. I would have loved it if Pierce Brosnan could have made another James Bond film. I think it would have been nice. It would have been nice to give him like one final little movie, and the purpose of the movie could have been like a send-off. Like it could have been, this is definitely his final movie. Because I think every single Bond, when they've gotten to their final movie, like they don't really know it's their final movie. Whereas like No Time to Die, which I will get to, that's kind of like your definite, this is it, this is the end. This is the end of Daniel Craig, no more. He was able to leave on a real dramatic ending, and Pierce Brosnan didn't get that. So that's a shame. But yes, I think I need to stop talking about this now because I'm almost like at 30 minutes. Bloody hell. So yeah, I became a big, massive Daniel Craig fan after this, and I checked out some of his other films. Defiance was pretty good. I thought that was quite good. Yeah, I think I'm done with this film. I think I'm done talking about this film. It's a great film. Let's end this review because I've got to get to Quantum of Solace now. So anyway, goodbye. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.